Is this GT500 worthy of the name? "2008 was a vastly different automotive landscape. The US was in the beginning of a huge economic slide, gas prices were through the roof, and automakers were scrambling to be profitable amidst plummeting car sales. SUVs were hard hit, and new car buyers flocked towards cheap econo-boxes promising high gas mileage and low payments. It was definitely not the best time to be selling supercharged 500-plus horsepower Mustangs. And at the same time, the Chevrolet Camaro was still on hiatus, leaving a hole in the market big enough to drag race through. And that's exactly what Ford and Dodge did. Dodge had its 6.1-liter Hemi, but Ford raised the bar with the supercharged Shelby GT500. When the last American Shelby GT500 was sold for the 1970 model year, it would be a long time before fans of the striped Mustangs bearing the Shelby name would have a new car to play with. In fact, people of my generation grew up without much contact with Shelby cars at all. Kids in the 1970s only saw Shelbys at car shows or in magazines, and the turbo four-cylinder Dodge products of the 1980s just weren't quite the same as the V8 pony cars of the 60s. There was a Mustang GT350 for '84, but that wasn't even a Shelby. GT500 is a highly respected name for Shelby fans, so when Ford said they wanted to bring that name back, they had to make sure it lived up to the performance legend. Well, when this '08 car came out with a supercharged 500 horsepower engine, it started creating its own legends. So when news of the return of the Shelby Mustangs hit the street in the mid-2000s, lots of enthusiasts were jazzed. The first couple cars were GT350H rental cars, just like the old days. But the hot one was the new supercharged GT500, like our 2008 version here in the Brothers collection. The stock GT500 uses the 5.4-liter V8 engine found in the Ford GT supercar, albeit with a few changes. This 500 uses an iron engine block and a more traditional wet sump oiling system rather than the dry sump and aluminum block found in the GT. The factory GT500 spins a Roots-type supercharger, heavy breathing down the 4-valve cylinder heads, churning up 500 horsepower and 480 pound-feet of torque. But this particular car is wearing a Kenny Bell supercharger, bumping power north of 700 horses and dropping quarter-mile times down into the tens. That supercharger might look familiar to Shelby fans, as it was offered on the super limited edition Super Snake versions, specially modified by Shelby American. All GT500s use the 6-speed manual transmission with a high-performance hydraulic clutch and a limited-slip rear differential stuffed with 331 gears. Beefed-up sway bars and urethane bushings work well with the McPherson strut suspension to deliver tight handling without feeling like an 8-second Bronco ride. Big 14-inch Brembo brake rotors tried to hide behind the open 18 by 9.5-inch wheels, and big and sticky 255/45 ZR18 front and bigger and stickier 285/40 ZR18 tires grabbed the ground in the back. This 2008 GT500 has technology in it that Carroll Shelby couldn't have even dreamed of back in '67. It's got tons of manageable power, a quiet, comfortable ride, and it probably gets double the fuel economy of the '67 car. I mean, this thing basically does it all. The GT500 is part of a new breed of 500 plus horsepower cars that deliver the goods in the performance and luxury departments as well. Leather seats are trimmed with an embossed cobra, and they're supportive enough to drive all day. But we really don't know because this car's only got 260 miles on it. The hood is flat, but the Shaker name lives on through the 1000-watt Shaker audio system. And while the power curve of late model muscle cars has been rocketing skyward over the past few years, the 500 horsepower factory rating on this one was at the top of the stack back in 2008. It's definitely worthy of the GT500 name, if you ask me. Shelby fans have a lot of cars to choose from when picking favorites. So where does this 2008 GT500 land on your list? You can share your thoughts and comments with us on our Facebook page or our website. And don't forget to subscribe to the YouTube channel so we can beam you out another cool video next time from Muscle Car of the Week.